Today we're using 200 pieces of mithril, over 2,700 hammers, all to push our gear to plus 100, just like this. Before we push all of the other pieces to plus 100, we did this using Kingshot Optimizer. This is the first time I've used Kingshot Optimizer since back in December, when I guess it was the day after they officially launched their tool to optimize your gear and items that you have to be able to tell you what you should upgrade. So it has come a long way. So what we want to do is we want to put in all of our gear and then see what the optimizer says, because I already have in my mind what I want to do going forward with my gear. But first, let's check out the optimizer, see what it spits out, go through the optimizer, see how easy it is to use, and then we're going to come back, going to compare. Also, this video is not sponsored by KingshotOptimizer.com in any way, shape, or form. I also can't get rid of the video ads, so bear with me on those. Even after pressing the X or attempting to press the X on that like 500 times, I still am not able to get rid of them. But regardless, we are going to go through and we are going to enter all of the pieces of gear that we have here for experience. This is on the Hero Gear tab and the Optimize option underneath the Hero Gear tab on their website. We're going to quickly enter how many forge hammers and mithril and mythic pieces of gear that I want to have or will have for KVK Prep Day 5. So we're going to use a little bit of planning ahead here. Later on in the video, I'll come back and actually change the forge hammers because of the optimizer. And I do this because of one of the features that the optimizer has, which is called near miss. And we'll see that in a little bit, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. This part of the optimizer is a huge hassle, especially on mobile, where I have this on mobile just because a lot of you watch on mobile. So I wanted to relate it to that, especially if you're on your phone, so you can see it much easier. The website is easier to use on desktop, like most websites are. But nonetheless, right here is a huge pain point. They know it is a pain point. I've talked to ZBrave, one of the developers for the website, and they acknowledge that this is one of the pain points. They also acknowledge that there is a lot of data that you have to enter, so they are working on things to try to negate all of those pain points in the future. As we are putting in all of the gear that we have and all of the stats related to each piece of gear, this part of the website right here is probably the most important part for you to get right. You have to make sure that you are not just guessing and you are actually putting in your correct information or data here. If you are guessing, then the optimizer is not going to optimally put out what gear you should be upgrading. This is a huge hassle at the start, and I had to just actually check this on my phone, and the website does cache this for you, meaning that if you do come back to the web page, as long as it's on the same device and same browser, then it will be there for you. So you do only have to put it in once, and then you can come back and upgrade it as you go, or as you increase and upgrade your hero gear. This is only for one set. So I did talk to ZBrave, and he talked to me about having multiple sets. So there is ideas of that in the future, of having multiple sets and optimizing things like that. But for now, it is your main march that you should be looking at, or your second march if you are a large whale, or third. But for most of the average player base, that including myself, this is our main march that we're looking at and trying to upgrade our main march as much as possible. So we are finally almost done putting in all of our gear. I'm going to put in all of the gear, and then what I'm going to make sure to do is, you'll see in just a minute, is that I go back through and I double check that everything is inputted correctly, because I want to make sure that the stats that I get from the optimizer are what it's looking at for my gear and not just something that I accidentally put in. So we're going to go through, we're looking at all of them and seeing what we have. And then once again, we are double checking our inputs for the items or the resources that we have. What is nice about the optimizer that I didn't know, I calculated out how many of rare and epic pieces that I had, and then did the math and put it into the 100 enhancement XP parts here on the screen that you can see. But if you use the drop down, there's the gear to consume, and instead of you having to do all of that math, it does it for you. So that's very nice. Obviously here you can see I ended up using that, so that's a cool feature, I thought. As we scroll back down here, we're going to get to a portion of after you put in your gear and all the stats for your gear, you're going to select the build profile. Now, the build profile is another extremely important part of this optimizer that you do not want to miss. And you want to take your time to actually figure out what is going on and why it is doing certain things when you select a different profile. There are multiple different profiles. You can see it here where I chose future-proofed build Gen 4 Plus, and early game combat is more weighted towards things like lethality on cavalry and boots, where growth is more about infantry survivability and archer DPS for things like Bear Hunt or Mystic Trials, etc. So if it was me, and obviously your account's going to be different, but if it was me in the early game, I would do early game combat because that is what the game's all about. And I want to be really good at combat when in the early game and later stages. The early game growth is definitely more of a well-rounded type and more focused on a more friendly kingdom. So if your kingdom is very friendly, then early game growth is good for you on that. Like I said, I picked future-proofed build Gen 4, and that's because I liked where the stat weights were going. You can also customize the stat weights, and I've played with that a little bit, but unless you absolutely know what you're doing or have used the optimizer many times, then I would stay away from customizing it, obviously, unless you know what you're doing. I'm trying to ever think of a reason why I would pick unweighted, maybe for fun, just to see what it would spit out. But I don't think you should ever choose unweighted because this game never has an unweighted advantage. It's always an advantage of health for infantry and stats like that. So you definitely want it weighted, and they have pretty good weights here actually. If you want to see what the profiles do to change the weights, you can actually see that. You can choose the profile, and then if you scroll back up to your hero gear portion, it will tell you right next to where you choose if your piece of gear is epic, mythic, or red. In the little drop down there, it will actually show you what they are weighing in certain items. Underneath the choose profiles, you'll be able to use the near miss analysis feature. You need to make sure you check that like I just did there. You always want to be using this even if you don't plan to buy anything else, because you could be one off of an item such as one hammer or something, and then you could buy it from either something like the VIP store or the mystery shop, etc., to be able to push that item really quickly. How the feature works is that it will do a second or an additional iteration of all of the analysis or optimizations and just add 10% more resources on top of what you already have to see if there's anything that is close to a breakpoint that you could use. So now we are ready to optimize, and before we optimize, my plan was to get the cavalry's lethality pieces, same with archer lethality pieces, both of them, to plus 100, and then see what I could do with hammers and then prepare for the next KVK. So with that being said, let's jump in and see what we get from the optimize and see how close it gets to what our plan was. One thing that is nice is the optimizer is going to give you an overlook of what all of the stats combined equal out to. So with that being said, let's take a look how we get to these stats, and that's what's the most important part about this, is what the optimizer is telling you to accomplish. And it's a little bit difficult to see on mobile, but we can work with it here. So infantry gloves, it's saying that I need to up its mastery level with hammers to level 20, so maxing out the infantry gloves. Same with chest, but it's only having me go to 19. That's probably because I don't have enough hammers. And also my mythic pieces, it's probably looking at that and allocating them to other parts of my gear set so that it's not wasting as many mythic pieces and you could get more out of your mythic pieces for other spots for more stats. It is also having me increase the exact items that I planned on doing, except for archer boots, where it shows going from 101 to 179, but they're already at plus 79 in red gear. So immediately I knew I made a mistake somewhere, and that's when I was talking earlier about this right here. This portion is the most important part that you need to get right, is you need to input your gear levels correctly. And you can see that I'm going back through and just wondering, well, what is going on with this, and just testing things out to see where I went wrong. And then we're going to re-optimize and we're going to see what it likes, and we're going to do some trial and error, which is what you should be doing as well. Trial and error. And then you can see what happened here. I had a 1 on enhancement level, and that was probably due to the attrition of just going through every single input, and I just quickly went through and just assumed that they were all full. It's a little hard to see that it has been fixed just because the ad pop-up. I'll scroll down here and you'll see that it has been fixed, and that was what the problem was. And that problem can throw off a lot of other things when the optimizer is running, because it is using more resources for that mistake where it could be allocating those resources elsewhere. And that is the importance of getting it right and actually double checking and looking at it. So from my first experience using the optimizer back in, I think it was like December 4th of 2025 versus now, which is April of 2026, it has come a long way. Prior, it didn't really handle the imbuement buffs very well in the past. Now, it did exactly what I wanted it to do. I wanted to up my gear to plus 100s on my boots and helm for cavalry and for archers. It also gave me this near miss where the custom arms set pack is happening during KVK and during the time period where you can upgrade your hero gear. And so now I'm popping back into the game and checking out the custom arm set pack and seeing how many hammers I can accumulate from that. Because if you notice on my near miss, it said that hammers are basically my bottleneck and I should obtain more hammers. And once I obtain more hammers, you can see there, as we scroll past quickly, the mastery levels increased by a lot. The resource analysis at the bottom is also nice because it tells you how much of each resource you are using. Ideally on that, you are in the 90s, meaning that you are using all of the resources that you have pooled, but you shouldn't be at the finish line of when you're going to be upgrading and then realize how many resources that you have and needed. You should be accumulating and having that in the back of your mind as you're going and buying packs from week to week. Overall, I think the optimizer did a really good job, and it did exactly what I wanted, but it gave me more insight on things that I should be using my hammers on. So that was a nice surprise. I was impressed by that portion. If you are a player looking to optimize your stats in a better manner, then make sure you check out the optimizer. It was a great tool. Let's jump over to the fun part where we get to use the resources. And what we're going to do is we are going to actually follow the optimizer to a T. So if the optimizer tells me to increase my infantry chest to level 20, then that is what we are going to do. You can see we have a lot of resources that we can play with that we ended up accumulating, which I did a video on opening over 10,000 Lucky Hero gear chests, and I opened them one by one. Literally 10,000. It took over 4 hours for me to open them. So I have to condense that all down into a video. The whole reason why we did that is to check if there is bad luck protection on Lucky Hero gear chests, meaning that if you go so long without getting a mythic piece, then will the game automatically give you a mythic piece no matter what. So if you haven't, make sure you like and subscribe on the channel. That video will be coming out hopefully sometime this week or next week. That video is going to take me a long time to do, but regardless, let's enjoy this. We're upgrading now our cavalry, and it does say to upgrade my cavalry helm. And at first I was a little skeptical of doing that with the hammers because it says it to do it rather than doing my archers, and I like archers better than cavalry. I hate the 60-40 meta, but it is what it is. And I decided, like I mentioned prior, to follow the optimizer to a T. One thing that I wish the optimizer did, and I did talk to ZBrave, one of the developers for Kingshot optimizer, is that it looks in the future as well to prepare for the next KVK after this one, where I could have upgraded my health pieces on my cavalry and archers to level 15 so that I didn't have to accumulate so many mythic pieces over such a short period from KVK to KVK. I also went to my second march and upgraded my second march to red gear. I had leftover mythic pieces, and so I wanted to make sure that my second march was also getting a little bit of help, because that helps in Mystic Trials. It also helps in Arena and in things like Swordland when you're hitting multiple people at the same time, etc. Anyways, this entire video is me upgrading and using over 200 mithril, 2700 hammers, and a lot of mythic pieces due to having a over 10,000 Lucky Hero gear chests. Anyways, thanks for supporting the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. It helps a lot. It allows me to do things like this. Also, make sure you join the Discord. I'll put a link right here. You can come chat. There's hundreds and hundreds of people, like-minded people in there, so make sure you come in and come say hi. I'd love to hear how your planning is going for the next KVK and what you plan to do with your hero gear, and if you have used the Kingshot optimizer. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.